Because we say with the Federal Republic. And he asked the question, did we make the Constitution? Are we federal? So those who are arguing themselves about whether you are going back to that is what you say first. And I want to make this clarification. I thank God I happen to be a witness to the evolution of the Constitution. What I'm telling you is what I don't read. It's what I took part in. When the Constitution was made, after coming back from Lancaster House, it was out of spite that the Midwest region was created. It is to spite the Western region that you are creating. You are talking of creation of one state, because the argument of Chihuahua is that you can't have this awkward federation with one region leader. You must break it into states of ethnic groups. And that is why somebody mentioned that they are talking of middle belt and all that. Because he was talking of one state, it was on the basis of that campaign that the action group won support in the south, in the minorities in the eastern region and the minorities in the northern region. It's of our agitation for them that gave back to what is now known as rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Yenegoa, and the other one. But before we went to another conference, the agitation of our vocation mountains, the group of those states as core states, Calabar, Ogoja, River states, those are the states that became all the states we are talking of now. And when
I'm sorry, sir. A lot of questions coming through. The main question that when you're sending texts in me, look, Nigeria, kilo de technical do no.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. No, I want to make that clear. Because the question of going back to 1960 Constitution does not make going back to 3 regions. And as somebody rightly pointed out during the debate that the context of what we fought for in Lancaster House of Federalism that created premiership should be the context of the units of whatever we say we are going to break into. Not that we are going to go back to 3 regions or 4 regions. And as I said, when they created the Midwest from the West, they thought we are going to oppose it because they are not going to create the rest. But Chihuahua said, no. If you have agreed on the principle of creation of states, start from the West, then create the North, create the East. And as a result, it was a member of the action group, late M.S. Showale, who moved the motion for the creation of Midwest states to show that it's the principle we are talking of, and that the other state must be created. Let's settle that for. So all those who are talking of, they can't go back to Ibadan. The authority for them under this system is going back to Abuja, because they can't, no unit of this 32 states can stand on its own. And the principle of ethnic group we are talking of is you must be contiguous, you must be the same language, the same culture, the same everything. And I will not say at that time that in creating more states, the moment you deviate from the principle of linguistic principle, ethnic and religious, there will be no end to the creation of states until you get to a Kenya state. People don't know why. And that's why you have got in 32 states. Because when you talk of the Yorubas, you know who are the Yorubas. You talk of the Igbos, you know who are the Igbos. We talk of the Efik, you know who are the Efik. We talk of Ijos, you know who are the Ijos. It's on those bases he did. And if you read thoughts on Nigerian Constitution, you will see the number of states there. They are all contiguous, autonomous, and viable. Each state in the federation must be viable. Those are all the conditions of being a state within a federation. I think that will settle all the other questions. Now, let us come to the question of nation or no nation. As somebody said, bọ́mọdé bá ṣubú awájú, bàgbàlagbà bá ṣubú awẹ̀yìn. Ẹ̀yin kẹ́ ẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ jáde. Ṣé ní instrument ẹ̀ lè fi bá federal government jà? Àwọn náà ní army lọ́wọ́, àwọn náà ní police, àwọn náà ní DSS, àwọn náà ní everything. They know they crush you. But the only way we can get our autonomy and get our self-government is the federal system which we got from the colonial people, which they can't dispute. And if you read that constitution well, somebody said, maybe they have not read it. The question of your women being raped, the question of state police, the question of everything is embedded in the federal constitution. If you are autonomous, you will be the governors that will be the lame dog governors you are having. You have control over your security. And for your information, for those who don't know, when we became, we have region in 1960, the Western region asked Western Nigeria Constabulary. The chief of police at that time was Omoboriowo, I forget his name now. Those who will be there. We have that. And that was the basis on which we have our consular office. Somebody was saying Otumba land. Otumba land is not what we had today. It is the Kensington Palace Gardens where the ambassador said 15A Kensington Palace Garden was first occupied by M.E.R. Okorodudu from Warri. When we started that thing, other regions were abusing our law until they followed up. Did not follow up by the Monique from the area. And this follow, showing the autonomy of a constituent part of the region. As you do that office, we are able to look for accommodation for all the scholarship we offer. We are autonomous. You don't have to go to the colonial office or the federal government office. And so that's what we are, our investment people, which we are looking for. We created an investment office in London through the Western Nigeria Production Board. Those are how the autonomy of the self-government state. If federalism is operated as it is in America,
yes,
in Canada, in India, in Australia, all these problems are talking about be solved. That is no modification. So it's not a question of bringing you in. To talk of a nation now, you are only putting yourself open for firing. And we are talking to the man like Buhari who doesn't care for life. He just bow you down. And somebody said, as dealing with these people. But when we say we want to go back to federalism, he has no choice. And if he deals with that federalism, all the powers he's having now will be wiped out. He knows that. That is why he was not going to do restructuring. Restructuring is not the philosophy.
Daddy, àwọn ọmọ yín pọ̀ tí wọ́n ṣàgbà àwọn ọmọ yín tọkàn pariwo lé mi lórí ni wípé what is the way forward? Daddy, way forward ni wọ́n ṣàgbà wípé what is the way forward?
The way forward to me.
Yes, sir.
Tọ́ba máa gbọ́.
Yes, sir.
And if they have been listening, only they don't want to listen. Those who have been talking of one nation, I never oppose them. Those who are talking the Yoruba nation, I never oppose them. It is because Buhari is deaf to constitutional change. They are the usual impatient about the oppression under this unity form of government that they say they want to go away. And I ask them, throughout agitation of Shifaolo for federalism, throughout his agitation that this country must be one, I want anybody to point to a statement, a press statement, or anything in Awolowo or Afenifere statement. From Awolowo down to Adebanjo, we have never used the word secession. Until Buhari came in. Until 1999 question, and even from 1999, when we are talking of sovereign national conference, We didn't talk of secession. We are only saying, if you are not going back to 1960 constitution, let us sit down and agree on the constitution under which we are going to live together. Very clear. So all other things we are bringing in is just drawing a wool. If you go straight what we are doing, have a constitution under which you all agree to, or go back to federal constitution, which makes the region or the federative use autonomous. The security is under us. You are now having a constitution where the governor of the state has no control over the police. It is this fraudulent constitution that created it. We didn't make it. That's the question you people are addressed to.
Daddy,
the last question is, let me complete it. Don't jump people when they don't know the background. They'll be asking for what is already answered.
Yes, sir.
If you say we want that constitutionally, and I made it, I'm not hearing word about it. If the basis of coming together, you need, then there's no basis of forcing us to be in Nigeria. It is there that we don't want us. I agree with everybody. The whole world will know that if you don't make peaceful change, those who make peaceful change impossible, make violent change inevitable. That is what you are having in Igbo and iPod. Because Buhari refused to listen to constitutional people like myself and others asking for instruction to federalism, then you give room to Igbo and iPod. That no, we are not going to sit under this teaching. So that answered the question of those who are answered. I don't blame them, but I'm going to a more realistic thing. If they are not going to do structurally for us, then there is no basis of coming together. Because federalism is the basis under which the colonial people brought us, gave us independence. Anything outside that, it is to the intent of Israel. So they don't doubt about that.
Yes, sir. Daddy, yes, sir. Let me take some more questions. I think what we are hearing here is Baba is very clear that the way forward is we maintain what we are saying to the government of Nigeria, which is we have no further interest in the Constitution of 1999.
Quote me right.
Yes, sir.
Don't quote for that interest. That is if we had it. We are saying that Constitution is fraudulent.
Did you hear that?
That must be clear.
That's
and
it.
they have not refuted it. I've been saying it.
They
impose it on us.
That's it. So fraudsters, the fraudsters that gave us this constitution, we want them to know we are not fraudsters. We don't want to be part of any fraud. So therefore, that constitution is of no use. But
that's why I say,
yes, sir,
to talk of 2023 election,
yes,
without changing this constitution, you are wasting your time.
Right. So you hear what Baba said, that constitution.
There will be no election 2023 unless this constitution is changed. If not, it is to the intent of Israel. I have not hidden it. We must agree on the constitution, and the southern governors say, let us have a dialogue. You can't impose the constitution on us. No. You drop this constitution now, the election now. When you start again, you still begin to cheat us. The VAT you still be collecting. You collect money that don't contribute. You impose a military region on us. No. That is not our constitution. That's not how we came together in 1960. That is why going back to 1960 is significant. That is why our people don't understand. Send us back to where you met us. It is you who changed it in 1966. If you are not sending us back to where you meet us, let us agree on a new one. That's the
Baba, the question somebody was asking is that tí Afẹ́nifẹ́re ń sọ báyìí, kí ni ẹ̀rí tá a rí pé tí Afẹ́nifẹ́re yìí ń sọ gan-an ni ìjọba máa dáhùn
ìjọba ò lè dáhùn iṣẹ́ ara kan tó ṣe wọ́n nìyẹn. Bákàrí ìjọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan ẹ̀fẹ́ gbọ́ àwọn ará bíbá kò sẹ́ni tó ń gbé òmìnira lé lọ́wọ́. You fight for your freedom. If you are not prepared to die for others to live, to go to prison for others to be free, then forget it. I have no doubt in my mind that they won't agree, but it just depends. Those people are talking about, so those don't know. If you all now agree that no, change this constitution before I have an election, you are not going to have an election. They won't do it. They just some people will go and contest. Some people will do this because they want to be in power. They don't want to fight for it. I don't say they will agree about on the place. You can't get it on the platter of gold. You are going to fight for it.
Frank Bello, you got your hands up. Please
unmute. I got my hand up.
Daddy, I'll come back to you when I'm ready. Frank Bello, please put your hand up.
I'm going to leave. And I told you I come to this meeting to make a contribution. I will be leaving in 15 minutes.
Papa, you are not going to overrule me. You are not going to overrule me. So that is
I'm not overruling. I'm just telling you my intention. I mean, my purpose of coming is to make contribution. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. If I just come to sit down here all day long, you know me. I'm very busy. I have the vision of Nigeria, and I want to make it. If you won't let me, it's no point me coming.
I
want to ask my papa and make a statement because I listen to everybody. You know that. You know me anyway. All right, give me 2-3 minutes to make my statement.
That is more of a negotiating strategy. Oh yeah, 2 minutes given to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Erelu. Bless you. Thank you, Papa, and thank you, everybody. We all are. I love Nigeria. Let me start from that. Let all of us love Nigeria, or whatever it breaks up into, because you know, I'm writing a book called Solving Nigeria. Those of you have been reading my book, and I plead with Erelu to pass these books, these things I write, which you read every time to people. As Papa has said, what you need to do is to dismantle everything and start all over again. And by God who has called me to sort this country out, there will be no election 2023. If you people will listen, we will not confront anybody. We will make good cases. We articulate them. And people, when they are informed, they will come along. It's time for people's democracy. It's been politicians' democracy, as everybody has known. They are there for their own good. If they are following the case in Nigeria, and they love the country, they will be pleading for people who have intelligence to come and let us forget about election 2023 and then do something, start all over again. All this discussion, Yoruba, Igbo, when we sit down for 5 years to dialogue and talk intelligibly, all this will come out of the wash. We are just wasting our time arguing about whether we stay or not. Even if when we leave Nigeria, Yorubas, we'll still be having a relationship with the Igbos and the Hausas, won't we? So it's a lot to say. And I thank God I let people read my writing, Erelu. Thank you.
Papa.
I've got to go now. I'm sorry.
Papa, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. But let me make a point.
Thank you.
You didn't actually raise your hand with the arrow needed. That's why I didn't see you.
You knew me, and I was angry with you when I came in. When you introduced some people, should have introduced me. That's part of the problem for Nigerians. You know who I am. You know me. You know where I stand. And I told you about this coming to Smith. You know me. Yes. When you introduced me at the beginning, you should have introduced me. You did not do that. You ignore me. You sideline me. That's the problem.
Papa, you are not a speaker. The day you agree to come and be a speaker on my program, you get introduction.
I don't need to be a speaker. I just want to be humble. Put questions.
No. Papa, you said you have to come back and be a speaker. That is when you get introduction.
Bring me on, and I will do it joyfully, happily, in love for peace in Nigeria or Yoruba nation or what do you say, Igbo one or whatever. We can do it if you have good leadership. We can sort Nigeria out, and we do it in my lifetime. You know my age. Glory be to God. Thank you. I got to go. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm very grateful. Papa, please mute yourself before you depart so that we're not hearing the noise. Let's go straight on to Frank Bello has not said anything. Omoboriowo said something before. Bimbo Roberts has said something before. Dr. Akin M.O. not said anything before. The others have said something before. So let me go to those who have not said anything before. Frank Bello, Dr. Akin M.O., and those are the people that have not totally said anything before. So over to you, Dr. Frank Bello, over to you. Is it Doctor? Doctor, you ready? Over to you.
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you, Relu Modeki Baba Wadada, because Agba Oni Tan Lorile wa o. Gbogbo àwa sọ pé a fẹ́ gbọ́ tán kò yé wa ní. It's on Yoruba to say you don't want to hear history. Because tí o bá mọ bí tó ti ń bọ̀ kò ní mọ bí tó ń lọ. One thing I want us to understand is that there's a lot of things that we often overlook. By 2040, the Nigerian population will be over 440 million. And the bigger part of this will be Yorubas. And the youth in Nigeria, they cover roughly 65% of the population. These are the data from United Nations. And they said the punch you don't see coming, that's the one that knocks you out. I think the question remains, do we not see like 10, 20 years ago that our situation would be where we are today with the Fulanis and Hausas? I would rather say no, we do see it, but we just don't take it serious. And time has given us a chance now to actually move a needle. When you look at the data globally, you will see all those countries that are separated. It's very similar, like Czechoslovakia, from Czechs and Slovakia, even the Sweden, Finland, Norway. This country, they are less than 10 million, 5 million, even some cases 3.5 million. And some of them are superpower. So the question submits that what is the fear of Yoruba that we think that wherever what we have today, that wherever the solution we offer is binary, is either we remain in Nigeria or we separate our ways. And those people that are thinking that Yoruba unity is at stake, I think they are very myopic, because there's no nation that's perfect in the onset. But when you take advantage of your intellectuals, people that have seen things globally, like Baba did, Baba Awolowo did, and he did very intelligently. It's not that he went through all those things without enmity within ourselves there, but Baba focused on his goal, and he achieved a lot with Baba Adebanjo. Those things they did is still on the ground today. And he was right when he said that all the things that they did is still what we have today. We haven't added any value into it. And that's a fact. Because when somebody is trying to create their own reality, they forget the fact. And what Baba has been telling us today is the fact. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't be afraid of unknown. Like, because we don't have ammunition, we don't have anything, the war comes. If we recall the Civil War, the Igbos are the top hierarchy in the militaries. They have everything, even ministries. But they are the one that created the 1966 war, and they are the one that say they want to separate. But if not for the force of the Yoruba, if not for the wisdom of Baba Awolowo and Baba Adebanjo and all others that come together to fight the war alongside with the Northerners, I don't think the Igbo could have won that war. So we can go back to the drawing board and start strategizing. Look at the value that we have within the Yoruba, Omoluabi factors, decorum, and build our youth up. Because when you see what is going on in the entertainment industry in Nigeria today, yes, is my emphasis is that we have a lot that is going on for us, and let's use that value to build the future future Yoruba, not Nigerian. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awofolaju. Let me remind those of you who are out there watching, and especially the undergraduates. I know there are lots of questions you've raised. Let me remind there's somebody who I can see on my screen. I'll be very grateful if you kindly mute yourself back. Dr. Awofolaju, thank you. Please. Now, the matter before us today is very clear. Should we return? Certainly, our Afenifere leadership is saying very clearly, asking that we should be returned back to the time of independence. I think we've established the strengths, we've established the weaknesses, but I think a matter arising, which is very important, is this belief that there's no further need to be, let me say, diplomatic to say, but Papa is saying, that's Papa Adebanjo is saying, develop by force. The matter before us, you go by force or you go in a particular manner. If you go by force, now it's been made quite clear. Either Baba no so, I want to jagun, and so on and so forth. What my program does is bring issues to the surface. It's just like a seed sower. Lots of seeds have been sown. And take what you want of this program and utilize it. Mine is to bring people together. We're all together. We heard what Baba Adebanjo is saying. It's very clear. It's not that he's happy with the situation. It's not that he believes that from the question, I can waste time. I'm afraid I do not name tribes. I don't name people. I'm not interested. Àwọn kan wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí wọ́n káwọn lọ wọ́n ti bàbá wọn ti wà ní díẹ̀ tipẹ́tipẹ́. As far as I'm concerned, yes, wọ́n ní jẹ́ káwọn lọ. Now, ibi tá a bọ́rọ̀ dé rèé, tá a bá ṣí ìwé yẹn báyìí, kan lọ́tún kan lósì, ìwé yẹn tá a bá ṣí, ó ń sọ wípé àwọn kan wọ́n believe pé kò ní ìdíkà tí ẹ gbà bí Afẹ́nifẹ́re ṣe ń sọ yẹn ká continue. Ìyẹn náà ti wọ already. Àwọn kan náà wà tí wọ́n ń ìrìn àjò yẹn. Bàbá Adebanjo dẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn ò lòdì sí wọn. Wọ́n ní tí èèyàn tó bá ti wà ní ipò tó ti rí ọ̀tún tó ti rósì, àwọn bàbá wọ́n ti rọ̀tún wọ́n ti rósì, wọ́n ti wà ń di ìrìn àjò yìí fún 70 ọdún kọjá. Wọ́n ní ẹni bá rò pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ alàgbà Awofolaju, àwọn bá láwọn lọ́wọ́, wọ́n ní gbogbo wọn ogun kankan. Kò sí di wọ́n bẹ̀. A ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu Mọ́gàjí Adéjùmọ̀ pé Aníbà tí lòun máa ṣerú kan, àwọn bàbá ti lọ sí ẹ̀wọ̀n detention, gbogbo wàhálà yẹn wọ́n ti lọ. Ìyẹn ò sọ wípé ẹni bá ti ṣetán láti jagun yẹn kó má tẹ̀síwájú. Tí a pè ìpàdé yìí fún ni wípé ohun tí àwọn bàbá ń sọ kó yé wa yékéyéké. Kí ni ìdí ẹ̀ tán dẹ̀ fi ń sọ? Wọ́n ti ṣàlàyé ìdí táwọn fi ń sọ. Tó wọ́n tún emphasize ẹ̀, wọ́n ní àwọn wà part of fraud, kò sọ́nà ń bẹ̀. Now, a tún ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu àwọn tó ti jòṣèlú pé gbogbo nǹkan tí à ń sọ yìí ó ti dojúrú láti ìgbà tó ti pẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n dídójú bá tiẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ sọ pé àwa Yorùbá fẹ́ kóra wa jọ yìí, a kóra wa jọ sínú region ni, a kóra wa jọ sí lọ́tọ̀ ni, ìkí tó lè jẹ́ mbẹ̀. Wọ́n láwọn kùdìẹ̀kùdìẹ̀ kan wà. Àwọn kan dẹ̀ ń sọ wípé a máa wọ́rí pa kùdìẹ̀kùdìẹ̀, a máa rí tò. Nígbà nǹkan ni tabarẹ̀ tó sì fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀, mo rí pé àwọn kan fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀. Frank Bello is still there. Is Frank Bello with us before I call Akin Fakonda?
Yes, Erelu, thank you very much. I'm here.
Over to you.
Mo kí gbogbo ilé o, mo kí bàbá wa o. Ayọ̀ Adebanjo, mo kí gbogbo àgbààgbà.
Frank Bello, I've just muted everybody because of all the sort of grunting going on in the background. Now, please mute yourself. Moberini, mute yourself. Please check your mute button and be muted. Frank Bello, please try again and see if it will work.
Yes, thank you very much, Erelu. Sorry, you can see my picture in there.
That's fine.
I can see that. I don't know whether this is Bimbo Roberts Folayon that is there, the former chairman of Kano.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, you all know who Frank Bello is. Baba Mogaji, I salute you. Baba wa Shifayo Adebanjo, mo oridobale ni mo wa baba. Ìbéèrè náà tí mo fẹ́ béèrè ó pín sí ọ̀nà mẹ́ta and mi mọ̀ bóyá Chief Gboyega Adejumo wọ́n máa takulẹ̀ mi ò mọ̀ bóyá bàbá wa Chief Ayo Adebanjo wọ́n fẹ́ tackle question yẹn and Erelu mọ̀ mi dáadáa pé oníjọ̀gbọ̀n èèyàn ni mí and just like bí gbogbo wa ti ṣe mọ̀ pé bí bàbá wa bọ́n ṣe sọ fún Abacha pé ọ̀tá ìbò ẹyọ kan péré ni àwọn jẹ́ pé kò yìn bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni èmi mo lérò pé nínú gbogbo àwa tá ń ja ìjà para ẹ̀ Erelu ẹ ti mọ̀ mí tipẹ́ and I'm a very very radical Yoruba son, very very radical. I'm very proud to be a conservative Yoruba and I will do everything to fight and to defend Yoruba land. And as a matter of fact, I am the only person in the history of anywhere in the world to jáde blatantly lórí social media tó dẹ̀ jó Nigerian passport nínú náà and I have no regrets whatsoever doing it because I think I got fed up. So ẹni tó bá sọ pé òun jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá òdodo àtàtà bí mi ṣe jẹ́ because èmi gangan I am a very proud product of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo's free quality education. Now, Yoruba self-determination. Are we only limited to a one-man face, one-man superhero in this agitation? That's number one. Number two, from Yoruba World Congress to Ilana Modua, can we assume Ilana is the only group of all the groups that will liberate this our self-determination? Number three, is Ilana talking to the already established pan-Yoruba organization, the Afenifere? If so, where are we and who in Ilana is doing the talking to Afenifere? Erelu, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much indeed. First of all, I haven't called this gathering to discuss any organization whatsoever. I only have got one item before me, and that is a particular statement made by the acting leader of Afenifere, and that statement is specific. So you have to forgive me. This particular program is not discussing any organization whatsoever. So if anybody wish to discuss it, that's fine. I'm so sorry, Alagba. I know the point you're making, but that's not the purpose of this gathering. So forgive my not being able to allow anybody to even delve. If I want to raise that kind of issue, I would really have included it in the publicity material, Yoruba, future in or out of Nigeria, specifically with Dawapada, Sibita, Timbo. Emma Binu Simio, Ejaka Tesiwaju, Lori Oroyi. I want to bring in Akin Fakunda. Over to you.
Ekale gbogbo ìgbìmọ̀ mo dẹ̀ júbà olórí wa Baba Adebanjo. Gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí, we are now in December 2021. Àwọn bàbá sọ pé nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ni, but a mọ̀ pé àwọn tó wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n ní fún wa. wọn dá wa lóhùn etí wọn di sí ọ̀rọ̀ wa ẹ jẹ́ ká gbàgbé bó ṣe rí nìyẹn kí la fẹ́ ṣe láti yọ ara wa a dẹ̀ ní oṣù 12 láti January a kàn lè máa rojọ́ títí ká bá ṣe nǹkan kan láti sìn di October next year ajá kan gbóná ni so gbogbo wa la fẹ́ ni fẹ́re kò sí gbogbo wa la fẹ́ ni fẹ́re ẹ má jẹ́ ká sọ pé à ń sọ òkúta sínú ilé àwọn afẹ́ ni fẹ́re gbogbo wa la fẹ́ ni fẹ́re náà.
alàgbà Fápòhùn dà ẹ jọ̀wọ́ ẹ dábàá fún wa ẹ má béèrè kí lẹ nílò bóyá ká ṣe.
gbogbo wa ń sìn náà kí nǹkan tí Afẹ́nifẹ́re ń ṣe mi ò tí lè sọ torí àwọn ọba ló máa sọ létà mú nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ but àwọn tó ń sọ kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ kí la lè ṣe gan step by step between now and October 2022 kí la fẹ́ ká ṣe gan.
ẹ má fi kún ìbéèrè ti wà nílẹ̀ now ẹ jọ mo ní ìdèyàn 3-4 ìbéèrè tán béèrè ni pé ẹ̀yin àwa táwa ń jókòó lé ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re wà ń jókòó kí la fẹ́ káfẹ́nifẹ́re ṣe between now and December 2022 ǹjẹ́ ara ẹni tó lè dáhùn ìbéèrè yẹn kí la fẹ́ káfẹ́nifẹ́re ṣe àbí ṣé ìbéèrè tó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ nìyẹn torí pé Afẹ́nifẹ́re nínú òkú lóko anybody with the answer here?
I have an answer.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think first of all, we need to try and stop the 2023 elections. I think that's the priority. That's the priority we should look, because already there has been distribution of rice and all these sort of things going on. And these politicians, as we know, are preparing themselves to take over. And we all know that taking over means self-interest. So we really need to focus on shutting down that 2023 election.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's priority.
Thank
and
you.
The other reason is because we all know that when elections hold in Nigeria, people die. So it's actually about saving life. So if we want to save the lives of our Yoruba people, I think the election, Papa Adebanjo is actually priority. I also want to ask a question with what I've said very quickly. Is his concept of restructuring, Daddy, your concept of restructuring, would it also entail us having control of our borders? Because that is another problem. It's because of the porous border control. That is why we now have the mass migration of people from the north coming into the south. So, Shamaraye control borders were.
Thank you. Thank you. Bimborobos, I'm going to actually take that as a suggestion to Afenifere. I think Afenifere, they've heard you. I think. Please don't come in. Please don't come in, whoever that is. The most important thing please mute yourself. If you don't, I will remove. I do remove from my program. So please, Mobaini. Now, let me please suggest that what Bimbo Roberts has, the point she has made is one that Afenifere they've heard. I do hope in the future at some point there'll be some kind of a consultation in terms of whatever the package that we are talking about in terms of returning back to where we're meant to be. So let me go straight on to someone else. I can see a lot of hands up. Omoboriowo is still here. Alabi Anjolaya. What about Alagbo Omoboriowo? Is there anything you wish to say? Although the question still stands. Between now and 2022. Bimbo Roberts has said something wonderful. Whatever needs to be done to back the suggestion that they should change, they should remove the fraud before the election. Over to you. Very clearly, I have. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Please, you have made the point. Unless there's a focus point you still wish to make, kókó iṣẹ́ ní ká gbá ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn lẹ́sẹ̀ ń tẹ́ fẹ́ gàgà ń kẹ́ sọ. Ṣé ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì kù tẹ́ fẹ́ sọ? Ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Now, ẹ dákun ṣẹ́rí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìjókòó alẹ́ yìí ni wípé bàbá ti sọ fún gbogbo wa pé àwọn tí ń pariwo, àwọn ti sọ fún gbogbo ayé pé fraud ni tó wà ń bẹ̀. Tí fraud bá ti wà ń bẹ̀, èèyàn ò lè wà nínú fraud ó lóun fẹ́ dìbò. Wọ́n ti sọ yẹn. Àwọn ẹlòmíì náà ti sọ sí wípé okay, bọ́rọ̀ ìṣe wà yìí, election kò sí bó ṣe lè ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú fraud. A tún ti gbé àbá kan wá pé ó dáa, a ti ní àfẹ́ fraud, a ti ní election kò gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀síwájú. Kí ni àbá? What actions would you like to suggest that Afenifere considers? Now, it's very clear. I think we have got some kind of an agreement on as things stand, there's no guarantee that what Afenifere is asking for this. I mean, let's put it this way. They're already doing the amendments. They are doing the amendment of the Constitution already. So they are not, at this point in time, interested in listening. So what are the other suggestions that they make? Any suggestions? According to what Alagba Fakunda said.
I have a suggestion, ma.
Over to you.
Yeah. Sherry, bí gbogbo nǹkan ṣe ń lọ ńsìn, àwọn kan ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé wọ́n ti ṣe association àwọn governors. Táwọn governors yìí bá come together, wọ́n lè try àti dá party lẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tó bá máa ṣe election. Now, èmi ò sọ pé election máa wà fún national o. Èmi sọ pé kí wọ́n bá máa ṣe election, kí gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá kí wọ́n vote. Nǹkan tó bá jáde ńbẹ̀, mo mọ̀ pé Yorùbá nation, Yorùbá exit ló máa jáde. Kó jẹ́ referendum, kó jẹ́ the starting point tí àwọn Yorùbá nation fi máa wà papọ̀ independently of whether we have Nigeria or not. Kó dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣe ètò ìlú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo state tán ti create sílẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kó dúró bó ṣe máa dúró, kó lùkàkú máa ṣe state yẹ. Then káwọn àpapọ̀ àwọn governors kan tán dálẹ̀ yìí, òun ló máa jẹ́ nǹkan tí ta máa vote fún nígbà tó bá ṣe election ní 2023. But kò ní jẹ́ èyí tá a ní darapọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn oní 2000 ti àwọn Buhari and co. Á jẹ́ tilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìkan. Tó bá gbà fún wa ká dá party sílẹ̀, kí káwọn Yorùbá come together, kí wọ́n dá party tiwọn sílẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ká dẹ̀ ṣe voting wa, ká máa ṣèlú tiwa lọ, ká gbàgbé pé Igbo wà, Middle Belt wà, Fúlàní Haúsá wà, ká sì kí ọ̀bọ̀dà wa ká máa ṣe tiwa. Bàbá Akíntóyè ti gba, wọ́n ti gba.
No, please, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, ẹ gbórúkọ yẹn, okay.
Mi fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ anybody.
Okay, mo ti gbọ́, mo ti sọ suggestion mi.
Another suggestion, or
hold on a second. I want to bring in politicians. Alagbaji mi Agbaje ẹjọ́ ṣẹ̀ṣì wà pẹ̀lú wa, òṣèlú lẹ́yìn kí lè rí sí gbogbo nta ń gbọ́ so far so good. Alagbaji mi Agbaje, are you still with us? I'm not sure if you're still with us. Let's have a look. I'm looking through. I'm not sure if he's I can't see him on the screen here.
Jimmy is gone.
Okay, let me take a look at who else have I got here? Honorable Wale Oshun, are you still with us? Let me bring you in here if you're still with us. I just want to capture that. I don't believe he's still with us too. Now,
I am. Well, but gbogbo nǹkan tá ti ń sọ láti ẹ̀kọ́, mo rò pé ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú.
Ẹ ṣeun.
And èmi rò pé ètò ṣe kókó jù. òun ni pé gbogbo ọ̀nà yẹn wọ́n ti là sílẹ̀, gbogbo èèyàn ló ti là sílẹ̀. Àkọ́kọ́, kí ni ọ̀nà tó wà lẹ̀? Àwọn kan status quo people ni wọ́n, they want things to remain as they are. At the other extreme, àwọn kan wọ́n sọ pé àsìkò ti tó pé kí Yorùbá kó máa lọ. Now láàrin ẹ̀ ni àwọn méjì wà, àwọn tí wọ́n sọ wípé no restructuring kò ní sí 2023, àbí àwọn kan tí wọ́n sọ wípé whatever happens, tó bá ṣe election, restructuring táwọn bá lè ṣe àwọn máa ṣe ń gbà yẹn. As it is, mo rò pé irú program bíi eléyìí ó lè help láti save information, but
I think we've lost him temporarily. Yeah, okay. Well, I think when he comes back, I'll let him conclude. I think we now need to go back to Baba for 5 minutes. After that, I want to invite two more. Over to you now.
Hello.
And boy, exercise.
I say, well, tó jẹ́ wípé within àwọn àgbàlagbà yìí, whatever their differences there, whatever they are, wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wọlé bára wọn sọ̀rọ̀. Kò kí ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ orí ìta gbangba báyìí mọ́. Ibi tí wọ́n bá wá decide pé ó yẹ kí Yorùbá lọ. Ṣùgbọ́n bó ṣe rí àwọn tá à ń bá ṣe tí wọ́n bá yìí ń sọ wípé àwọn ò fẹ́ restructuring, àbáwọn tó ń béèrè fún sọ ìsọkísọ, then kò sí option kankan tó fi sílẹ̀. Kò sí option kankan tó fi sílẹ̀ ju pé káwọn tó fẹ́ kàn jáde kí wọ́n máa sọ pé ó yẹ ká jáde. Mo rò pé bí méjì tó wà nìyẹn ní ìsìn. Gbogbo àwọn àgbàlagbà ló yẹ kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bára wọn sọ̀rọ̀. Tó jẹ́ wípé tán bá ń sọ lẹ́yìn, wọ́n á lè jọ sọ, wọ́n á dẹ̀ lè pe àwọn òṣèlú sí at an appropriate time. Mi ò rò pé much. Ẹ ti open platform, àwọn èèyàn ti sọ mind wọn. Tá bá máa lo mind tó wà lórí table lẹ́nì, ó jọ pé ó máa ṣòro láìsọ 60, 70, 80% ló fẹ́ kán lọ. But ẹ jẹ́ ká fi sílẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ káwọn àgbàlagbà lọ deal pẹ̀lú ẹ̀.
I want to, there's a reason why I want to bring in very, very briefly Mogaji Adejumo, because the suggestion about Àwọn Àgbàlagbà, my impression is that Yoruba Summit has got all the Àgbàlagbà in the organization. That is my impression. Please advise us. The action point.
My advice is to look at an ailment, and then, of course, to look at a solution. If we go to a doctor with a complaint and the doctor is able to say that there had been something like that before, and then we'll be interested in what has been done before to cure such an ailment. If we remember very well, the Biafran episode of 1967 to 1970 wasn't particularly successful, and it was because the rest of the country did not agree. What Afenifere did in 2016, Papa Adebanjo specifically, was to call all Yoruba groups. And when we met at Ademasigba, what we did was we invited the Ohanese Indigbo, we invited the Middle Belt Forum, and we invited the South-South group. We invited those we identified as the leaders of these groups, because whoever thinks that Yoruba can do it alone, either restructuring or to lead the nation is only in a farcical situation. And in coming together to do that historic summit, and which is tagged the Ibadan Declaration, the Indigbo, represented by Nia Inwodo, came to tell Baba that, Baba, this is the most successful thing he has ever seen. Please, all of us that are oppressed, we want to come and meet with you. And the very first meeting happened in Papa Adebanjo's house. The Indigo came, Ohaneze, the South came, and then the Middle Belt came. From Papa Adebanjo's place, we formed the group called the SMBLF. And from there, they traveled to Yenagua. And then this massacre in Makurdi happened. The leaders were inside this airplane. The federal government did not allow the airplane to land. In fact, they only had less than 15 minutes of fuel before they were allowed to land. Another tragedy will have befallen Nigeria. Since then, for 4 years, we've been having meetings. And I'm a member of that group. And what the meeting is trying to do is for the 4 zones that are mostly oppressed, the South, the Southwest, the Southeast, and the Middle Belt, to come together, to be one, to be able to speak for 4 out of 6. And if anybody has studied history of how certain situations like this have been solved in history, then look at the Rose Revolution of Georgia, look at the Velvet Revolution.
Sherry point make one important point. There's something on ground.
There's something on ground.
Yes.
There's something on ground, and the support base of that something on ground resides with Papa Adebanjo, who is the deputy leader of that group, and Papa Clark, who is the leader of that group. And we are meeting regularly, and I'm very sure very soon all the 4 zones will come together and speak with one voice, which will shake this country to its own very foundations.
Ashe. Now, I think we've heard that there's a suggestion of Agbalagba to come together, but from what we are hearing, it looks as if there is already some kind of a collaboration between a number of groups that are affected by the situation in the country called Nigeria. But again, it throws the question. There's also NINAS. Where does that fit in? So obviously, there is still a need for more collaboration to take place. From what we are hearing from Mogaji Adejumo, it looks as if there is something firm, something in the direction of getting close to a decision, I hope, on the point raised by Papa, and that is before elections, this fraud called constitution must go. And I believe that is going to be a crossroad, because if it doesn't happen, it means one suggestion which has been made, and that is what should we do between now and end of 2022? Somebody has suggested, form a political party of yours. Form a political party of yours. Get ready to do the necessary. I think the important thing is, why are we going to do this? I haven't got any evidence that there is a group with enough money. There's a group with enough all that is needed to simply walk out of Nigeria. I haven't seen any evidence of that. And I think I've held so many sessions like this, reviewing what is going on. And each time we come to, there's nothing on ground. I mean, we can see with what's happening with another group in Nigeria, and I think I couldn't believe what I saw on TV as they were massacred. But here we go. Let me see that anybody who has, if you've said anything before, I won't be allowing you. I'm sorry. I think we are coming to the end of the program. I want to bring in 2 ladies. I hope both of them are still with us. I want to bring 2 ladies, and after the 2 ladies, Papa will be the last person to speak. The first lady I want to bring in is Mrs. Annie Fowoshe. I'm not sure if you're still with us. Mrs. Jumoke Annie Fowoshe, you've been listening to us for quite some time. May I ask you to share your thoughts? Mrs. Annie Fowoshe is a daughter of the late Papa Ajasin, one of historic leaders of Afenifere of Papa Awolowo. Over to you. Hello, Ms. Anifosha, are you with us?
Well, I'm here, but I've been on and off. But from the little that I have listened to, let me put up my tape. I think I will want to agree that all of us should come together under one roof. I have been advocating that for a long time, because if we are not united, there could be disagreements here and there. But I want to say, if we are not united, it will be very, very difficult to do anything as a Yoruba nation, or even stop whatever is going to happen in 2023. As Papa has said, we are, we don't have anywhere in Nigeria. The army, the police, all the security agencies, they are, we don't have any power there. So how are we going to confront the powers that be? So I want to advise that whether you are Lano, whether you are this, whether you are that, we should all come together under Afenifere and let us fight this fight together. You remember Nadeko, we all came together, and that's how, God intervened in his own way. And if we are together, there will be fear on the other side. And, nobody will be able to penetrate us. So if we go along the way of Nadeko, the unity that, that happened at that time, it helped in getting rid of General Abacha, who was tormenting everybody. There were killings then, assassinations, and so on and so forth. And people had to go on exile. But with this, nobody will go on exile. We are in a democratic setting now. So I feel coming together under one umbrella, under Afenifere, we are good to go and stop whatever we want to stop before 2023 if we don't want any election. That is my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Let me, before I bring the next lady in, Barrister Deliogun, final thoughts before I bring the next lady in, and of course, Papa will be the last speaker.
Erilu, thank you very much. I'll be brief. Very, very quick comments. First of all, I think Baba misunderstood my comment regarding the dates. It was the fisticuffs in the Western Region House of Assembly that led to the declaration of the state of emergency in the Western region, which effectively brought to an end our own, if you like, home rule, our own self-governance. It was 1962. 66 was the coup that now scattered the whole thing for the whole of the country. But there is no error in my historical analysis whatsoever. However, on a more positive note, the way forward is to boycott that election. Baba is correct. Once we've recognized that there's a fraud on the ground, which is the 1999 Constitution, you must never condone that fraud by participating in any election under the basis of that Constitution. It means that the electoral process is tainted by fraud, and we should not be party to that. So if there's one thing that Afenifere needs to be doing, is to lead the drive for the boycott of that election. Lead the drive for the boycott of that election. They need the people to lend legitimacy to their circus, and we should not be clowns in that exercise. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, if it's possible to say a few words regarding the ideas.
No, it's not possible anymore.
Okay.
I think
no
we're focused now. Thank you. let's move on straight away to Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, the daughter of our founding father, Papa Chief Obafemi Awolowo, SAN, GCFR, and to thank her for always making herself available to listen and to see in whichever way she may be able to help us tune into, I always say, Radio Papa Awolowo in the spirit world. So, Yeye, a very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us. Over to you, your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Irelu. Yakushe, as usual. I was hoping to just listen tonight. I'm in a very noisy environment. But I should say thank you to all the contributors this evening. Gradually, we're beginning to understand one another better, and gradually, a consensus of sorts appears to be emerging towards the struggle for emancipation of the Yoruba nation. Between both extremes of those who want the status quo, as Honorable Wale Oshun said just now, and those who want out, there has to be a middle ground. And I think it is finding that middle ground and coalescing around that middle ground is what we need to do now. It will be a hard task to get those who have already worked themselves into the mindset that we just have to go. It'll be tough getting them back, but we need to. Papa has said the most important thing, which is what Papa also, the philosophy that Papa applied in his time. I mean, Papa Awolowo, he had no intention whatsoever of losing people needlessly, losing lives, which is what an outright decision to exit without proper planning or in an environment that is not conducive to that would generate. So I am thankful that it's all coming together. I will just appeal to Papa Adebanjo to continue to accommodate youthful exuberances and people who don't necessarily understand what had come before. You are doing so well, sir, and you are you are accommodating and teaching people, educating people about what has come before so that they can understand where we are, and together, hopefully, we can chart the way forward. So that is all I will say. And I think those who feel that Afenifere is in the way perhaps may like to rethink and actually understand that that is the organization that has been plodding and has been fighting and has been sacrificing for the last 70 years for the Yoruba nation and indeed for Nigeria. So we would attract a lot more respect if we all came together. That is what happened in the past. And it is still going to be the same formula going forward. If we came together and pool resources, intellectual, physical, youthful, all the resources at our disposal, diaspora, then we would attract the respect that finally would compel changes in Nigeria. I hope I have been able to pass something on, and we look forward to the successful move to the future. Thank you, Irilu.
Thank you very much, Yeye. Very grateful that you've been able to join us. And thank you very much, because you've actually signaled where we are going to have to focus. And with a special appeal to Papa, and Papa is the person I'm now going to invite to kindly respond with his closing remarks on the request before you, Papa. Papa ń tàn sọ ni wípé tó àmọ́ pé ti jagun torí tiwẹ̀ ṣeun adúpẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. A dẹ̀ rí pé òtítọ́ lẹ fi ń bá wa darí yìí, ẹ mọ àwọn tí ó wà níbi tó wà, ẹ mọ bí wọ́n tó ń kù wà. Ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ ti ṣàlàyé fún wa pé bọ́rọ̀ yìí ṣe rí o, àfi ká gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ ibi tí a fẹ́ fi ètò yìí ta fẹ́ fi àdàgbà ẹ̀kọ́ sí lónìí kan ni pé ó dàbí ẹni pé a fi ohun kan pé a gbà pé kò sí ọ̀nà lẹ́yìn wípé ìbò tí wọ́n fẹ́ láwọn fẹ́ ṣe tó tún fẹ́ máa darí wa síwájú lórí èyí, àti kò sí òfin fraud tó wà níbẹ̀ yẹn, kò sí bá a ṣe dé. A tún wá ń bẹ̀ yín pé àwọn àgbààgbà, ẹ̀yin náà ni ẹ̀yin àti Papa Fáṣọ̀rántì ni mo rò pé nínú ìrìn àjò yìí, ẹ̀yin ni àgbààgbà ibẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Wọ́n ní gbígbà làgbà ń gbà ní Olódùmarè á fún yín ṣe, kí la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe tí gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà tí wọ́n máa pe ìpàdé kan. A mọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí alàgbà Mọ́gàjí Adéjùmọ̀ ti sọ wípé àwọn ìrìn àjò kan wà tí ó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ tí ó dẹ̀ máa jẹ́ pé á ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí ó dùn ìrànlọ́wọ́ yẹn bá máa dé, kí gbogbo wa jọ ṣe àjọpọ̀ àjọyọ̀ Yorùbá tèmi náà ti improve sí, gbogbo àjọṣe àjọyọ̀ máa dáa. So bàbá ẹ dákun sà, gbogbo ohun tí Olódùmarè bá lè fi ràn yín lọ́wọ́, àfi tì í Ọlọ́run kó fún yín ṣe lákòókò tí gẹ́gẹ́ bó ṣe wà ní àti ẹ̀yìn wá, kí ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ kó wà, kí gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà wọn yẹn kárí wọn papọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìrìn àjò tẹ́yìn náà wà. So Papa, over to you, sir, for your closing remarks.
Ọ̀rọ̀ náà ò jù lọ. Erélúkẹ́ ibi ti sọ fún yín.
Yes, sir.
Kò sí gbogbo àwọn tó wà ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì pẹ́ pọ́ up to at least at last time tí mi ò bá sọ̀rọ̀ on one. Kò sí. Àtàwọn tó gba tẹ̀lé tó ṣe máa ránṣẹ́ sí wọn privately. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ kíni kan fún yín, ògùn ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń fetí sílẹ̀. Ṣe lè bẹ olóṣìgùn tẹ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ tó máa lò. Ṣọ́rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà lẹ́yìn àtàwọn tó fẹ́ lọ kékeré ni, ṣùgbọ́n láyà akẹ́bọ̀jẹ kò sẹ́ tó fẹ́ sọ́fà. Agbára wa dẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Fúlàní tẹnu abáṣọ̀kan tí ò bá ṣe tó fẹ́ bọ́ tára ẹ̀ nìkan. Àwọn gómìnà wa ti ṣínà ilẹ̀ fún wa. Mo pè kọ́nú wọn àbí méjì àbí mẹ́ta. Àtàwọn tá a mọ̀ pé ṣe lọ́rọ̀ pọ́n fẹ́ débẹ̀ ààrẹ yìí, ó dá àwọn Yorùbá jẹrù bó yẹ kó ràn án lọ́wọ́, ó dá àwọn lójú rú. Àwọn Fúlàní dẹ̀ ń tọ̀ wọ́n ní mi ò lè fi pamọ́ pé wọ́n ń tọ̀ ẹ́ ní padà sílé. Òun ní kankan gbé fún ẹ, wọ́n ní gbélẹ̀. Torí kò sẹ́ni tó máa fi oyin sẹ́nu tó fẹ́ filẹ̀. Àwa tó fẹ́ gbà lẹ́nu ni ká mọ̀ pé àní gbà. Simple operation tèmi rèé, ẹ tún lọ wo ẹ̀dọ́ níjọ́ra àgbàlagbà. Àwa ti ṣe rí. Tẹ bá lè rọ́jú ẹ̀. Àwọn southern governors wọ́n ti ṣínà lẹ̀ fún wa. Ẹ̀yin ni kẹ́ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ kẹ́hìntẹ́ wà lẹ́yìn wọn, kẹ́ dúró gbagbagba. Àwa dialogue lọ́jọ́ ṣe election. Tẹ bá ṣe yẹn ní gbébọn, Buhari ò tó kọ́kọ́ ṣe láti ṣe election. Gbogbo àwa sí south lápapọ̀ bí gbogbo àwọn gómìnà ti pẹnu pọ̀ tó lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe dialogue o, àṣẹ election o. Bó bá lọ ṣẹ́ lọ́hùn pàápàá, mo lè fẹ́ dá yín lójú. Tẹ́ south bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, ìjọba lọ làwọn middle belt lọ. À ń ṣiṣẹ́ lábẹ́ gbogbo yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n inú wa ò kù. Àwọn náà tí mo bá sọ, wọ́n ní bàbá ẹ̀bọ̀dá àwọn bá ṣe, àwọn kan á lọ ṣe. Tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti lọ ṣe yẹn, wọ́n náà ti wọlé. They don't want to reach the battle. Àwọn tó fẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ àánú akọ́ náà wà. A lè discipline àwọn yẹn lára ara wa. Ẹnu wa ni kókò pa àṣẹlẹ́sọ̀ tó ẹ̀bà ṣe sí nìyí. A ní láti gbé bọ́. Buhari òde wa máa yìnbọn fún wọn láàrin ilé tábàlà jáde. Ẹ̀yẹ wọ́n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní South East. Tí kan jókòó lé against the wish of the governor. Can you imagine kó kárí bẹ̀ throughout the west, throughout the south? Kí ló máa ṣe? Ṣáwọn Fúlàní ṣe bí mélòó yẹn ló máa lọ dìbò ló máa lọ win election. We can win if we have the means and the will and the unanimity. Kó ká kó wá gbà pé jẹ́ kí lọ bá àwọn jẹ wọ́n á fẹ̀mí jẹ president. Wọ́n tọra wọn. Tá a bá gbàgbọ́ pé àbá ṣe la máa jọ jókòó, òfin tá a máa lò 2023 yẹn a máa jọ rò ní. Kì í ṣe òfin jùmọ̀ jìbìtì lọ́ba tó lọ bọ́ sí, lọ́ba tó máa ní ẹ̀ tó bá débẹ̀ á yí padà. Òfò ìyẹn mo sọ fún wọn pé èmi o at 93 o, ọ̀rọ̀ restructuring will never be an election issue. Ṣe la máa ṣètùlẹ̀ ká tó wọnú ẹ̀. It's either bend or break. Àdèsọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ̀dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ tí ìmọ̀ pé wọ́n ní bí òwe ládùúgbò àgùdìgbò. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ bend or break ilé ìlàfẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ ilẹ̀ lé wa. Tí ìmọ̀ ta gbé lọ́nu yẹn. Ẹni ẹ̀ṣàbẹ̀ lọ ní àwọn afẹ́fẹ́. Tó gbọ̀pọ̀pọ̀ ní wọn bá mọ̀ nǹkan tó jẹ́ restructuring kọ́ ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kó ṣe. Kò sí kọ̀ọ̀kan tẹ́ tó fẹ́ lọ àti gbòmìnira wa. Gbogbo agbára tó fi tó àwọn tó ti kúrò. Ìyẹn ká jẹ́ ká yẹra wa. First of all, ẹgbà kájọ fẹ́ sí lọ́kọ̀ pé má gbé ọ̀rọ̀ election, má fi ọ̀rọ̀ president wájú wa lójú. Election dábàá máa ṣe yẹ òfin wo la máa fi lóra wa. Àṣẹ́tulẹ̀ kì í ṣe lórí òfin jìbìtì tẹ̀bí lò wáyé. Tàbá kọ́kọ́ wí nìyẹn ó ti parí. Ibi tọ́rọ̀ gbé lọ ni gbogbo yòókù akọ̀wé fúnra wa ni. Kò sẹ́ tó fẹ́ kú sínú oko ẹrú. Báyìí lábẹ́ ọgbẹ́ kó padà sí Nàìjíríà. Sàùdánà náà ń lọ, àwọn náà ló pé padà. Wọ́n á fẹ́ dọ̀bà lọ́wọ́ lórí èdè Yorùbá àwọn àgbà yẹn. Ẹ̀yin jẹ́ fẹ́ bá wọn ṣe election jẹ́ ló gbé ara yín. Ìjọba jọ ìwọ̀n. Ẹ̀ẹ́dì gbogbo àwọn tó lọ jọ APC sẹ́yìn. Tó fi tọ̀wọ̀ tí ọba jọ ìwọ̀n àbí ọ̀ṣẹ̀ president irọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀. Àtàwọn tó wà lára ara wa tó máa ní ìta ṣe campaign kiri lórí jìbìtì tó bọ́ sọ fún bàbá jẹ president. Ibẹ̀ ni kẹ́ lọ fojú sí. Gbogbo tó bá lówó ọdún pé ká ṣe election lórí òfin tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ọ̀tá Yorùbá ni àwọn yẹn ká kojú kọ ká pẹ́rú papọ̀ ká sọ fún àwọn gómìnà ẹgbẹ́ tó wà láwà kéèyàn kankan má tọrọ election tá a bá ṣe gọ́sọ̀ yìí. By the time you have done that, you have won the battle. You don't need to take up arms. Simple disobedience, and we are told. Thank you.
Daddy, ẹ ṣé lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní àbọ̀rọ̀ láǹsọ fọmọlúwàbí wọn tó bá dé nínú àjò dìde. Ẹ ti yànnàná gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, ẹ ti sọ bó ṣe yẹ ká ẹ sọ. Àwa ti fi ẹ̀bẹ̀ bẹ̀ yín, ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ ti wá fi ẹ̀bẹ̀ bẹ̀ àwa náà. Wípé kókó ọ̀rọ̀ tá a gbọ́dọ̀ mú lọlé láti bí lónìí ni wípé a ti dé ibi gangan náà ni wípé a mọ̀ pé wọ́n ti ta okùn ìbò yẹn kò ṣeé ṣe káwa gan rí ìbò yẹn láì jẹ́ wípé ohun jìbìtì àyọsọnù tí bàbá dẹ̀ sọ fún wa ni pé tó báwa náà ṣe fà ṣe àwọn aṣojú wa àwọn gómìnà wa nǹkan wọn yẹn báwo la ṣe lè mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Mo rò pé bàbá wọ́n ti sọ bó ṣe yẹ kán sọ. Ó yé ọ̀tún, ó yé òsì, ó yé gbogbo àwọn tí ń wò mí, kódà àwọn tí mo ní undergraduate ni wọ́n, comments wọn pọ̀ lóríṣiríṣi. Mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ ní ọwọ́ wọn pápá. Ẹ̀mí ágùn nínú àlàáfíà lè máa wà, àìríjẹ àrímu kò ní jẹ́ tiyín. Ẹ ti gbìyànjú fún Yorùbá, ẹ gbìyànjú kì í ṣe kékeré tó. Ẹlẹ́dàá wa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Ìrìn àjò tí ẹ wá mú wa rìn yìí, ibi tí ẹ fẹ́ mú wa dé, aṣojú yín ní agbára Olódùmarè, kò ní ṣẹ̀yìn o, aṣojú yín. Nítorí pé ìrìn àjò téèyàn ti rìn for 70 years pé kí a rí tó bí bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ ṣe fẹ́ kó rí lásìkò tiyín lágbára Olódùmarè. Àtò ẹ jèrè àwọn ọmọ yín, ẹ jèrè gbogbo àná, ẹ rí wa, dá wa lóhùn, à ń pè yín, ẹ̀ ń jẹ́ wa, ẹni jẹ́ wa mọ́, a ò ní rí. Àwa náà gbogbo ń tẹ̀ ń bá a sọ, àwa náà a rí bí gbé sí, àárín ìpàtà máa kó lè tùbà, kó lè túṣẹ́. So on behalf of everybody, I want to thank you, Papa. I pray I live long to be your age. My God, 93, that's grand age, and still so articulate and forthright. Long may that be. So on behalf of all those you have served in the past, and on behalf of those that you are currently serving and you are going to serve in good health, I thank you, Papa Chief Adebanjo, the current acting leader of Afenifere. I thank you for joining us as a presiding guest of honor on the topic, Return Us to the Constitution of When We Became Independent, Yoruba Future, in or out of Nigeria. Thank you very much indeed. Let me, through you, again, go straight on to thank Mogaji Adegboyega Adejumo, Police Secretary, Yoruba Summit Group. Thank you very much, Mogaji. When I called you, you said, well, I'm ready if my leader is here. Loyalty, real. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your contribution. I look forward to more of this as we do exactly what is needed, which is to find a way forward in the direction that everyone today here would agree should still be under the leadership of a 70 or 72-year-old organization bequeathed to us by late Papa Chief Obafemi Awolowo. I've seen his picture flying around everywhere. Wow, quite a man. May you also have a record similar to him to leave behind. Shigwani, thank you for joining me. And I want to go straight on to my ever-ready battery. I always call him ever-ready battery. Barrister Dele Ogun, chairman of the Yoruba Foundation and founder of Fatherland Group. Guest speaker of honor today. I mean, being a barrister, the number of hours you spend presenting yourself to help us, I think by now you'll probably be able to buy yourself a house in Dubai. There we go. I'm sure that's may not be quite true. Eshegoni, thank you very much for joining me. Always illuminating to have you around. Thank you. Your expertise, constitutional lawyer, first to none. Thank you for joining me today. I want to go straight on to our guest speaker of honor who helped us to focus on 1st of October 1960. That's the coordinator for Yoruba Referendum Committee, where we'll be visiting in the near future. Alagba Femi Odedeyi Eshegoni. Always, I can safely call you my ever-empty battle true. Eshegoni Olodumare. Ibi tẹ́yìn náà ti ń bá bọ̀ látìgbà tẹ́ ti ń ṣe irú ẹgbẹ́ alájọbí títí tán fi call something called Draft Constitution 2002, and where you are still working hard. Olodumare kó bá a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. I thank in absentia Ààrẹ Ṣẹ́gun Awógbèmí, and I will also want to thank Ààrẹ Olúṣẹ́gun Wisdom Adébáyọ̀, the President for Yoruba Spiritual and Religious Leaders Association. Eshegoni Ààrẹ Ẹkúṣẹ́ takuntakun. From where you are, somewhere in Lokoja, Kogi, somewhere, it's not very easy to connect. But thank you for linking me to Kogi, one of the Yoruba states that we hardly have contact with, certainly from my perspective. And Ashoju Odo Alawode Ramon, thank you for, nobody can say it's not youth leadership now. You started us off nicely, and it really was, it was an opportunity to see that that's what you know. That's what people of your age, no doubt, would identify with and would like to see. As Alagba Jimmy Agbaje said, good governance is what is crucial to the young people. Many are unemployed. Many have come across those who've actually served, they've actually served the nation under NYC. They're still looking for a job. I want to thank Omoboriowo Media, United Arab Emirates. Delighted to have you join us, and thank you for your contribution. My regards to your membership and, of course, the wider body that constitutes Ilana Media in generality. Also represented ably by Shegun Alabe, that is consultant orthopedic, Dr. Shola Oni. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank, when I decided I was going to bring in somebody who, in my view, would be able to give me an idea from a different perspective, I decided to venture in the arena of Alagba Olujimi Kolawole Agbaje. Surprising enough, somebody referred to him as having a history with Afenifere. You know, this Afenifere, any successful Oluomo, if I call them Yoruba, you find anywhere, they always seem to have roots in Afenifere. They may have escaped to do other things, as Papa always say, but they actually were, I call them Afenifere homegrown. And that brings to mind our gratitude to the departed soul who shall continue to be with us. And that is our sage, Papa Jifobafemi Awuru, and of course, his beloved wife, wherever they are at this point in time, Mama HID Awolowo. Also thanking them from the bottom of our heart for what they did and what continues to move us in the right direction. Let me go straight to another Papa, Ajasin's daughter. You know, unique to have children of those who have served the Yorubas and Nigeria as a whole, still interested in continuing the relationship, as hard as it may be. Ambassador Yeye Eshegwani, that is Ambassador Dr. Awolowo Dosunmu, always a delight to have you with us. Thank you for joining. Let me go through to all this, those who have actually contributed today from the Zoom area. Dr. Awofolaju, Bimbo Roberts, that's one great lady. In fact, when I saw Bimbo Roberts, I straight away thought it's Bimbo Roberts of Kano. Papa Moses Owolabi, who has promised he will be coming back as a guest speaker. I mean, Papa is in his 80s, he's a writer, he's written a lot. He has an organization with a focus on Africa. I've known him for years. But again, I'm delighted it's coming down to Nigeria level to be able to see from the perspective I've always shared with him. So, Engineer Chairman,